All right, guys, we're back after that quick break. Brett Lyons joining us from the Saginaw Sports Card Show in that first interview. But now we're moving on to the first of our Super Collector series, something that I promised you last month, but we had to rearrange things. And now
it's super time.
It's super time. Baseball season just started, and we're going to kick this thing off with a baseball super collector. You may have heard of him. He's been on the show once or twice. He's also everywhere out there in the card world. His name is Tanner Jones. What's up, Tanner?
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
We're doing super. Doing super.
Super.
So we've had you on a couple times. We've talked about a couple of different things, but what we've never really dove deep into was your Jose Canseco collection, not Ozzie Canseco, Paul.
Yes, I know. I was confused.
So let's start there. How many Jose Canseco cards do you have?
No, where did it start from? How did you start collecting Jose Canseco?
That's the better place.
Yeah, let's go there first.
Tanner, how did you start collecting Jose Canseco?
Well, and it's kind of funny, as you mentioned that I've been on a couple of times, and I was also in the Beckett magazine a couple of years ago.
Sure.
Not one of these times had to do with my Canseco collection, so it's kind of funny. But so, yeah, it's kind of interesting because one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is my quote unquote claim to fame at the beginning was buying and selling these massive collection of cards. So over a course of 10 years, I had bought and sold and done deals for about 10 million cards.
Wow.
So I wasn't really a big Canseco collector up until probably 2015 or so. I've always loved Canseco. I always, ended up pulling any Canseco cards I got out of those millions of cards and putting them in a box, thinking, okay, later on down the road, I'm going to sort them and see what amazing cards I had. And, so I finally got to the point where I'd sold everything. So, okay, well, now I've got some time, and I'm going to go ahead and look and see what Canseco cards I really have. And I was kind of disappointed because I'd have like 50 1990 Donruss Canseco cards, but not a single 91 Donruss Elite. I'd have, 40 of the 1991 Tops, but no 93 Finest Refractors. It was really kind of weird. So, what I decided to do is just sell everything and start over. So it's kind of where I began.
Okay.
That's amazing that this just started recently.
Yeah, I mean,
that it's not like, you haven't been doing this since, 87 or 86. That's
so
wild.
You're our age, Tanner. Were you a big Canseco fan in the 80s into the 90s?
Oh my gosh, yes. I loved it. I asked that man to my birthday party when I was 9 years old through mail. And, he didn't come. I don't know. I still kind of hold a little bit of a grudge about that. But yeah, we're getting over it. He let me over to his house, so we're fine.
Really? You got to go to his house?
Yeah, Paul, you don't know the story. Tanner, recap the you visiting Jose Canseco's house.
Okay, sure. Yeah, well, this happened, oh gosh, a couple of years now, coming up on 3 years ago, I guess, where I was coming back from the TriStar show in Houston.
Okay.
And whenever I'm driving, I think about all kinds of crazy stuff. And so one thought that I had is what if I were able to make some sort of like a private signing happen with, my baseball hero, Jose Canseco. And I think this is probably in 2014 when I started thinking about this. And I started saying, well, that would be kind of cool if I actually got him to not only sign things, but also try on a bunch of jerseys for teams that he played for and create my own patch cards with player-worn patches.
Nice.
So I ended up doing this, going back and forth with his manager for about a year or so, and it kept going like, hey, yeah, we'll be able to do it. No, we won't be able to. Yes, we will. No, we won't. Will he, try on these jerseys for me? No, I don't think so. But maybe he will. And so it's going back and forth. And finally, one day, his manager said, all right, well, he's ready if you want to come over on Saturday. So, and by the way, when I say come over, I'm in Texas, so I'm like, y'all, I'm just down a little further south. I'm in Houston here.
Right.
Jose is in Nevada. So it took a little bit of a trip, but I loaded up my family, and we ended up going to Nevada. And I didn't even know where we were supposed to go. He just said, come on. So, we were probably 1,500 miles into the trip. And I was starting to worry because still didn't know where we were going. I got no messages or anything from his manager. And so we switched off drivers. So my wife was driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and I got a text, and it was Jose's manager, and Jose's manager said, Jose invited you to his house. Here's the address.
Wow.
And so I'm telling you, I was in the car. I was, screaming, and, yeah, and my wife was too, and so was my son in the back. It was a fun time. So we had a great time. We, they cooked us some cupcakes, and he was narrating some home runs that he had hit while he was showing us some videos. And we had a baseball game on in the back, and he tried on all these jerseys for me, and posed for pictures, and played some cards. It was great. It was a fantastic time.
Dude, that's amazing. That's definitely like a once in a lifetime type thing.
Yeah,
man.
that definitely is. That's
so cool that he's that was that hospitable to just take you and your family in and be able to do all those things for you. That's awesome.
You sat in the first 40 guys kitchen and ate cupcakes with him, Tanner. I want you to let that sink in for a minute and just
yeah, it's been there. I actually have the Beckett article, the pictures of all the pages. I think it's like 6 pages, and the cover as well. I've got those framed on my wall here. It was great. There's nothing as far as collecting goes that I can do to surpass that. You know what I mean?
Well, you haven't met Paul and I yet, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He wasn't talking about like physical size.
Oh, I see.
You weren't talking about size. We're a lot bigger than Canseco.
So you just hit a nice milestone with your Canseco collection. Tell us about this number 1,000. What happened?
Yeah. So like I said, I've only really been collecting like hardcore since about 2015. I picked up some stuff before that, but really since 2015. And keep in mind, I have always loved baseball cards, and they've always had some part of me since like the late 80s. I collected Canseco cards back then, but like I'd said, 2013 or so, I sold everything. So the genesis of my super collecting story starts around 2015. And so probably about a month or so ago, I hit this milestone where I now have 1,000 unique pack-pulled autographs and relics together. And, that's a pretty massive undertaking, especially for, a retired guy like Canseco, even though he's been in everything nowadays. But along with that, I have over 200 different one-of-ones. I've got a bunch of others, that are numbered to 5 or less, 10 or less, and so on and so forth.
Man, 200 one-of-ones.
That's nuts.
That is crazy. 1,000 relics or autographs.
I don't have anywhere near close to that with my Kyle Seager collection.
No, you got like 7.
I got like 7, yeah. So what was the hardest for you to find, man? Not pooled, but you're chasing these down. What's been the hardest?
Well, let me tell you one thing. I actually have not pulled a single one of these on my own. I don't bust wax. I just open singles, or
okay.
I just buy singles.
Okay.
So so no wax has been handled through this, but there have been a lot of very difficult cards. The one that really kind of sticks out. Well, there's a couple stories. Number one, I'll tell you about this printing plate that I got. It's a 2016 Topps Archives. It's the Rookie Cup card of Canseco. I'm sure you all know about that card.
Of course.
There was a printing plate set that was autographed. I actually just finished that complete printing plate set.
Very nice.
And that was very difficult. It took a couple of years. It's like finding a one-of-one, but having to do it 4 times. So that was fun.
Yeah, and that's just amazing that you're able to even do that, because I'm sure there's a lot of this, whatever brand or whatever company, there's a lot of wax just sitting on people's shelves that these cards haven't even been pulled out yet. So to be able to find all 4 of them, that's an amazing feat, no matter who it is.
And with a player as popular as Jose,
right?
That he's not the only one looking for him,
Right.
So that's one.
Yeah,
so that's one of them. Give us another.
Well, the other one, I don't know if you all are familiar with this. Are you all familiar with rare 90s inserts and parallel cards?
That's Paul's specialty.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're talking about the 93.
Paul.
You were talking about the 93 finest refractors, and I just shake my head because I would love to have a few of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I hear you. Yeah, well, there's so about the 96 Select Certifieds, the 98 Crusades. We're talking like the top shelf type of 90s inserts. So I'm sure you're aware of those and everything.
Yes, indeed.
So there's this one type of card, and a friend of mine had one. It was a 1998 Pinnacle certified. It was a red test prototype. So if you remember, back in the late 90s, Pinnacle ended up going bankrupt.
Correct.
And so around that time, they started making these cards, and they were ready to go out, and pack them out, but they never made them because, they basically weren't a company anymore.
Right.
So as far as I understand anyway. So seeing this one card in my friend's collection, beautiful card, but it's one of those where, I don't know if you've ever seen a card online and you're just like, oh, your jaw drops and you're like, man, that's a bummer. I'm never going to be able to get it because that's the only one there is.
Right.
Well, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and this is really bizarre, a mirror red version of the same card is a 1998 Pinnacle certified mirror red test prototype card of Canseco that popped up. So it wasn't just the one that made my jaw drop. It made my jaw double drop, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how
That's
you'd
possible.
say it.
I got you.
Yeah, but so it was on eBay, and I was like, okay, I've got to make this happen. I've got to get this because you don't know if that's the only one. You don't know if there's 5 out there or what. But in the past 20 years, this is the only one that surfaced. So I go, okay, I've got to, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love 90s prototype type cards. So I did everything I could, and then I noticed the card was gone. It was off eBay. So, are you kidding me? I was just like, it hurt so bad.
You were out getting your financing together, your loans, refinancing your house, getting all ready to get this card.
Yeah, so I had to pull my car off of Auto Trader. I was about to sell that for it. But yeah, so I'm looking at this. I contacted the seller. I'm like, brother, what happened? I got to get this card. What's going on? And he wasn't responding to me.
Oh,
and so I said, well, I've got to do some sleuthing and see where he is. Turns out he is in, guess where, Dallas. And so I was thinking, that's weird. And I didn't even think about this, but until I was dropping off my son at youth group, and I go, do I know anybody in Dallas? And so I remember this one guy that had come over a couple times. He ended up buying probably, I don't know, 1.5 million cards from me. And I hadn't talked to the guy for a couple of years. So I was like, hey, Bill, do you know this guy? Please tell me you do. I know it's a long shot. I know we haven't talked to him forever. But if you do, please let me know.
Okay.
Well, turns out he does know the guy. So I was able to talk to him. Big roller coaster of emotions for me, probably more so than it should have just for baseball cards, but it's kind of how I rolled. But,
birth of your kids, getting married, those kind of things. Nah, man. It was the Pinnacle red test.
I guess they're important. I don't know. But anyway, so, it was really funny because it was just kind of this roller coaster of emotions. And ultimately, I ended up being able to talk to the seller, wasn't able to get anything done at all. But Bill, interestingly enough, said, Tanner, what are you looking for? I said, well, I'm looking for this Canseco card. He goes, well, you should have asked me. I think I have it. Wait, I knew that he was wrong. I knew he was talking about like a 97 or, something else. I just knew he was wrong. I was like, okay, well, I'll just do my due diligence and go down this road and see what he has. He ends up going to Beckett. Oh, yeah, well, he dropped off the cards over to you, I think, over there.
Okay.
And so I forgot about this part. So he's there pulling the cards, and he sends me a picture. He's like, hey, check your text messages. He sends me a picture. He doesn't only have the mirror red. He has the regular red. He has the black base. He's got the blue mirror, and he's got the gold mirror. He's got the entire run.
It's like an original rainbow.
And the entire rainbow, and nobody's ever seen this before. Like, nobody's seen these cards before. And so my heart stopped because I've never seen these before. I know that nobody else has either. And so he ended up buying out a bunch of product from an ex-employee at Pinnacle.
That makes sense.
So that's where he got them from. And so, anyways, I ended up, I was able to make a deal, and I was able to get all those from him. But I thought it was just such a bizarre thing because out of anybody, I ended up asking him. It had to have been some sort of divine intervention. That's all I can think of.
Sure. Now, what kind of car are you driving now? Because you had to get rid of your car back then.
Skateboard.
Nice.
And the one kidney, right?
Just and the one kidney. Yeah, he's hooking on one kidney and a skateboard.
That's exactly. If you don't mind me asking, what Can you tell us Bill's last name, because we know a lot of Bills that come in here, and I think if this is who I think it is, it makes a lot of sense.
Or you can tell us off air.
Or you can tell us off air if you need to, if you feel more comfortable that way.
I have no problem telling you. I'm not sure if he doesn't have problems, so I'll tell you off air. But I have no problem telling you. I just I don't want him to be like, Tanner, what the heck are you doing saying my name on air? So
I got you.
I probably should have said, let's call him Bob. I don't know.
No one listens to this, so don't worry about that. That's fine. So what's your favorite Jose Canseco card, man? What's been like? You've told us the toughest to find, but what's your favorite one you have?
So I've got my entire collection of over 5,000 items, all scanned, pictured at Cansecocollector.com. It's a searchable database. You have all the pictures. And I have a category that's called My Favorites. And so what I look at on My Favorites is basically, it looks like there's 168 items. So I've got a hard time making that decision. I figured you're going to ask, and I can't say it. The only way I could do it is I could say, well, what's your favorite, patch card? What's your favorite button card? What's your favorite barrel card? What's your favorite 90s card? So it's really hard to say. I've got so many different things I love. I put it to be like maybe a 40 weight high of what my favorite is.
I got you. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you have so many of them, and obviously you have a passion for them. So yeah, you're not. It's kind of hard to narrow down to one or two cards.
I'm looking at this right now, man.
You're looking at it now?
This is pretty dope. Yeah, this is. I can see why it would be tough. I can't do it. This is awesome.
Oh man! Now let's talk about for a second. You were talking about getting Canseco to try on some jerseys and some stuff like that to be able to make your own cards. So what kind of custom cards have you come up with for Canseco or other players, or how does that work?
Well, I've done a boatload of them before. One of the better ones I've done in recent memory was a triple panel booklet, and that included a piece of his game-used bat barrel, as well as a big piece of his cleats that he's worn. Okay. And a jumbo patch of his glove. And there's actually some of those, if you go to my blog link on there, it's tanmanbaseballfan.com. I write about all this stuff, and I do videos on YouTube and everything as well. It's been a blast. I've gotten so much positive feedback out of these, but I've also created cards. I created a mini card out of his game-used bat as well. So what I did was I literally took a piece of his game-used bat, and I created a baseball card out of that, almost like an Allen Ginter style mini, and I had him sign it. So I've just done a lot of crazy stuff like that.
That's awesome, man.
I thought you were going to say your Moochie's card that you got from. That's between me and you and nobody else. That's just for me and you.
Oh my.
Oh, hey, so I'm looking at these right now, and there's a Canseco card that I often wonder about. It's the 86 Fleer with Eric Plunkett. What the hell's going on with Plunkett? I mean, he looks high. It's weird. Canseco is a nice, good-looking gentleman, and Eric Plunkett Plunk is just, he looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, I smell a custom coming on here, so we might make that happen.
86 Flair, number 649. He looks like Napoleon, like maybe Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know. It's like he could throw that football over that mountain if he needed to. I'm just saying.
Over that mountain.
Yeah. Canseco's such a good-looking dude.
You look at him, and both of them are sporting a pretty rocking, half mustache there, so it's
right.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them.
Dude, it's the eyebrows, man. They almost come to a upside down V.
Yeah,
that's bizarre.
That's weird. I don't know.
Neither of them really look too happy to be there. You know.
Well, they're in Oakland. Who's happy to be in Oakland?
Right? Yeah, they're afraid of getting mugged or something when they get out of the stadium.
Oh, jeez.
That's awesome.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, custom card for that one coming up. Let's do that. All right, man. We're going to wrap this up, but before we do, you've mentioned your blog. Tell us again, tell our listeners where they can go find it. I'm sure they already know, but tell them again where they can go find it.
Sure. There's two websites. It's tanmanbaseballfan.com and cansecocollector.com.
Okay. I see them both, and I see the awesome Tanner Homer at Bat Simpsons character that we're going to need to get one of those.
Yeah, those are pretty cool too. Yeah.
So, man, this has been great. Any parting shot? Any last thing about your Canseco collection that we need to know?
Well, a lot of it is I mainly got to say that this wasn't just my effort. You know, I've had a tremendous amount of help from the entire collecting community. It's been overwhelming, and I'm so thankful. I have people probably about between 5 and 10 times a day contact me about Canseco cards that they found, and I am so incredibly thankful for it. It's a weird thing. I've never seen anything like this happen before, but I am so thankful. I'm so blessed because of it.
Awesome.
Very cool. He's created his own little community.
He really has, and I've seen it firsthand how the community has reacted to it and helped him out. It's really cool. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, man. I'm happy to hear this story, but you got to stay on the line and tell us which bill this is, okay?
Okay, absolutely, we'll do.
All right, man.
You guys hang tight. We'll be right back.